My name is Clara West. I'm 28, and I'm Brooklyn's only licensed exorcist. My license hangs on the wall of my office, right next to a photo of my grandmother, the woman who left me the family business. A Latin exorcism manual, a silver crucifix, a bottle of holy water, and one very specific warning: never take a job from hell. I took a job from hell's inner circle. That afternoon, someone knocked on my door. When I opened it, there was a girl standing outside in a pink hoodie. She looked 17, maybe 18. Her eyes were a deep red, not bloodshot red, but pure, melton ruby red. Her skin was pale, like she'd never seen sunlight, and her fingernails were painted with sparkly pink polish.
"Hi,"
she said, her voice carrying a strange echo, like she was speaking from the far end of an empty hall.
"Are you the exorcist?"
I am. I leaned against the doorframe and looked her over. Are you possessed?
"No."
She pulled off her beanie. Two small horns grew from the top of her head, black, curved, with faint red tips, like freshly polished obedience.
"I need you to perform an exorcism for me."
On who?
"Me. I'm Satan's daughter. I don't want to go back to hell. I want to stay on Earth and watch K-dramas."
Did you just say K-dramas?
Have you seen Promise of Eternity? The immortal guardian is ridiculously hot. And Palm Mallies, The Kind Be Jess, and A Letter from the First Stars, aliens are 10,000 times better looking than demons in hell.
She was praying for me to help her stay on Earth and watch K-dramas. Come in. She let out a little cheer and hopped inside, her feet lifting several inches off the ground before she landed without a sound. She walked into my office and looked around, her gaze passing over the silver crucifix, the exorcism manual, the holy water, and finally landing on my bookshelf, the shelf where I kept my DVDs. Her eyes went bright. You have Vow of Flames? That's the one with Shin Una?
I know!
She rushed to the shelf, running her fingers over the DVD cases.
I watched it 3 times in hell. But the internet down there is awful. One episode takes 2 hours to buffer. Demon Realm's signal can't get through the 9 layers of flame. You help me fake a successful exorcism. I pay you. And I can also give you daily spoilers for the newest K-dramas. I have a secret Earth account that gets every episode early.
You escape from hell for K-dramas?
There's nothing good to watch in hell. My dad is always in meetings about soul-harvesting KPIs and sin-based performance metrics. And my mom?
She made a face.
She's obsessed with gardening. She's turned the lava garden into Versailles. Nobody watches shows with me.
So you ran away?
I've run away 17 times. The first 16, they dragged me back. But this time,
she looked at me.
This time, I found an exorcist. The one person no demon would ever expect to help me. My dad won't see it coming.
So you ran away?
I've run away 17 times. The first 16, they dragged me back. But this time,
she looked at me.
This time, I found an exorcist. The one person no demon would ever expect to help me. My dad won't see it coming.
I sat down behind my desk. She stood by the bookshelf in her pink hoodie, red eyes, looking like any other rebellious fangirl.
If you ignored the whole Princess of Hell situation.
What's your name? Lilith. Last name.
Does Satan's daughter need a last name?
You do if you need a fake ID.
She froze for a second, then smiled, and that smile looked like a warm little flame inside her dark red eyes.
You'll help me. Double pay, daily, and I picked up my phone. You give me the latest K-drama spoilers every day. No skipping details.
She held out her hand. Her hand was small, her nail polish glittering. When I shook it, her fingers were warm, not hellfire hot, just soft and cozy, like she'd just pulled her hand out from under a blanket.
Deal, she said. Buster, my black cat, was sitting on the windowsill, slowly sweeping his tail back and forth. He stared at Lilith for a long time, then turned away and licked his paw.
Not a threat.
This one's lost. That night, Lilith slept on my couch. She curled into a little ball, the hood of her pink sweatshirt covering her horns, snoring softly like a small animal.
At 3 a.m, I heard her talking in her sleep. Opa, don't go. Satan's daughter was chasing a K-drama male lead in her dreams. I covered her with a blanket, then sat at my desk and opened the exorcism manual.
On the last page, in my grandmother's handwriting, was a note.
Some demons are not meant to be cast out. I close the manual.
The Queen's Tears updated last night. The male lead has a terminal illness.
Weren't you supposed to give me spoilers?
I just did.
She sat up and rubbed her eyes, her beanie slipping sideways and exposing one horn. He has a brain tumor, but the female lead doesn't know. She's fighting with him. I'm stressed.
You woke up stressed about a K-drama guy's brain tumor, aren't you? I handed her a cup of coffee. She took it, sniffed it, and frowned.
Coffee in hell is black, like tar. Human coffee, Starbucks. Human coffee is an actual drinkable liquid.
She took a sip, and her eyes lit up. This is way better than Demon Realm energy drinks. The kind my dad drinks leaves a sulfur taste in your mouth.
Buster jumped down from the windowsill, walked over to her feet, sat down, and looked up at her. Lilith looked down, and the moment she saw the cat, she froze. Is that a black cat?
There are no cats in hell. She slowly crouched down, holding her fingers above Buster's head.
Hell has hellhounds, 3-headed ones. You can't pet them. They only bite.
Buster lifted his head and bumped her fingers with his forehead.
Lilith reacted like she'd been struck by lightning, not from pain, but from the pure shock of being chosen by a cat for the first time.
He bumped me.
He likes you.
Hellhounds never bump me. They only wait for my dad's orders. She looked down at Buster, her softening. Can I pet him?
He's making noise. Keep going. So she kept petting him. Something moved in her red eyes, a thin layer of light rising to the surface of water.
She pet him for a long time before finally standing up, cat fur still clinging to her fingers.
I'm going to exorcise you.
I said, now.
Father may be watching you. The king of hell doesn't just lose track of his daughter. I need him to see an exorcist casting you out. That way, he won't get suspicious.
She looked at me, that shimmer still in her red eyes.
You're going to pretend to throw me out.
I'm going to pretend to throw you out.
Then you come back through the back door. We do it every day until your father believes you've really been banished.
What if he never believes it?
Then I exercise you every day. Your double payments.
She cut me off. I'll pay. Every day.
Buster sat by her feet, his tail curled around her ankle. He had already made up his mind. Picked up the exorcism manual, turned to a page in the middle, and started reading a passage in Latin, the one my grandmother had labeled, for dramatic effect only, no actual power.
Lilith cooperatively collapsed onto the floor, clutching her chest and groaning. No! I'm being banished. The gates of hell are closing. Her acting was terrible.
But my phone buzzed. The monitoring app I'd set up showed a faint dark red flicker in the hallway outside my door. And then it vanished.
Hell was watching her. Her father was checking. I finished the last line of Latin, and Lilith got up from the floor, brushing dust off her pink hoodie.
Are we done?
We're done. Your father saw it. He saw you get banished by an exorcist.
She stood in the middle of the office.
Buster sat by her feet, his tail.
So now, can we watch episode 9 of The Queen's Tears?
You just told me the male lead has a brain tumor.
I lied. He doesn't have a brain tumor. He just has stomach issues. I wanted to see you panic.
She grinned, and it was a real 17 or 18-year-old girl's grin, full of mischief and satisfaction.
Satan's daughter had tricked an exorcist just to see the look on her face. Buster's tail curved around her ankle. He was saying, "Interesting human."
Lilith had been on Earth for a week. Every day, she hid in my office watching K-dramas while I went out taking exorcism jobs. Then she started interfering with my life.
The day she finished Old Days, she pushed open the door and said, "The reason you're single is because you never met a Jungwoo like Liana did."
What Jungwoo?
A K-drama character. The kind of guy who would wait 6 years at a traffic light for you. You haven't met one because—
She looked me up and down. You wear black coats, black boots, and black turtlenecks every day. You look like an exorcist on her way to a funeral.
I basically do attend funerals. The possession kind. You need to draw a boy in a sketchbook and then wait for him to appear in front of you. I stopped packing up the holy water. Excuse me.
That's how it works in K-dramas. The female lead sketches a guy, and then he shows up. That's television.
So is my dad. Do you know how many people think he's fictional? She sat on the couch. My dad's greatest achievement on Earth is making humans believe he doesn't exist. My king of hell no one believes in is the most terrifying kind.
Buster was perched on her lap.
She had gotten good at petting him from the top of his head to the tip of his tail, smooth as flowing water.
Does your dad know he's very successful at not existing?
He knows. He thinks it's his greatest accomplishment. In meetings, he always said, "Humans no longer fear me. That God is the truest God."
Your dad is weirdly philosophical.
Philosophy is pretty much his only hobby. My mom doesn't keep him company. She only cares about this year's yield from her lava garden. She picked Buster up and pressed him to her cheek.
I don't keep him company either. I watch K-dramas. So he's a lonely king of hell with a gardening-obsessed wife and a daughter who binge-watched romance dramas.
She tilted her head and looked at me. You're lonely too. You're a lonely exorcist with a black cat and an uninvited princess of hell.
Sat across the desk, watching her. Buster purred in her arms.
You're not uninvited. You paid. Money can be refunded. But you let me stay. You let me stay. You let me stay. You pay me double every day. It's not the money. It's because when I touched the cat,
You didn't say, "Don't touch him." When I acted out the fake exorcism, you didn't laugh. When I said Oppa, you didn't roll your eyes.
You let me stay. No one in hell ever lets me stay. They either fear me or order me around. Only you let me sleep on your couch and gave me a Starbucks.
She pushed the door open and left. Buster jumped down from the couch, walked to the door, and sat facing it.
he knew. So did I. I let her stay because of the exhaustion in those dark rooms.
The exhaustion of someone who had been caught in the same place 16 times and still run a 17th.
She had run again. This time, she ran into an exorcist's office.
At night, I woke to a low growl. Not a dog's growl, more like magma rumbling through pipes. I sat up, and a sliver of dark red light glowed beneath my bedroom door.
Lilith was standing in the middle of the living room. She wasn't wearing her hat, and her two horns glowed faintly red in the dark, like burning coals.
She was facing the window. There was nothing outside, but 3 deep claw marks had been carved into the glass, dragging from top to bottom. They're here. She said. Who? The hounds. My father's hounds. 3 heads. Their noses can track the scent of hellfire. I've stayed here too long. My scent is leaking out.
Can they get in? They can't pass through windows. Hellhounds can only move through solid physical space. But if they find the door...
She turned to me, a thin lava-like glow moving through her red eyes.
They'll break it down.
I grabbed the exorcism manual from my bedside table. One page of my grandmother's notes showed a drawing of 3-headed hound. Holy water on the forehead may temporarily confuse the scent. How long will holy water hold them off? About 3 hours.
Then we use it 3 times a day.
Lilith looked at me.
The claw marks on the window slowly faded, as if the glass itself were swallowing them. But the air still smelled of sulfur and scorched fur.
You're helping me hide from the hounds.
I'm helping you hide from your dad's dogs.
I went to the kitchen and grabbed the holy water bottle, the one my grandmother left me. Silver, with a cork stopper.
I sprinkled it in a circle around the window frame. When the water hit the floor, it hissed softly, like hot iron meeting cold water. The hellhound's growling faded into the distance.
She looked down at the ring of holy water on the floor.
My father's hounds retreat from holy water. They're avoiding yours. She looked up. You protected me from them.
You're a paying client. A paying client.
You protected a paying client from hellhounds. You let a paying client hide behind your door.
I picked up my phone and checked the time, 3 a.m. Then I did something I had never done in my career as an exorcist. Go to sleep. Dark Glory updates tomorrow.
Her red eyes blinked. You watched Dark Glory.
I've watched Shinana's revenge scene 4 times. I lay back down and turned off the light.
You're my perfect client. You pay double. And you give me daily spoilers.
In the dark, her voice carried the faintest trace of laughter, soft as volcanic ash falling on snow. You took a job from Hell's inner circle. Your grandmother would be proud. I rolled over with my back to her.
The last page of my grandmother's notes surfaced in my mind. Some demons are not meant to be cast out. Some are meant to be taken in.
She was humming a K-drama theme. The Princess of Hell was humming a K-drama OST.
On the windowsill, the tip of Buster's tail swayed gently to the rhythm.
The morning after the hounds came, I got a new exorcism job. A middle-aged woman called and said her daughter was possessed.
She locks herself in her room all day, saying things I don't understand. Yesterday, she tore her bedroom door off and said, "The demon is in the wood."
I hung up. Lilith sat up from the couch, her beanie crooked and both horns showing.
You're going to do an exorcism?
Yes. Can I come with you?
You're Satan's daughter. Taking you to an exorcism scene feels inappropriate.
I can wear a hat. I can stay quiet. I can help you tell whether it's real possession. I've seen the real thing. My dad has an entire department for it. They have KPIs.
I looked at her. Her red eyes sparkled in the morning light.
Your dad has KPIs.
Hell is basically a corporation. He has a CEO, a CFO, even a CXO. Soul harvesting is the core business unit. Possession is their biggest growth sector.
She stood in front of my desk with her fingers clasped neat. I can help you confirm it. If the person is really possessed, I can tell you what level of demon it is. If it's low level, you can handle it alone.
If it's mid-level, you'll need my help.
Satan's daughter is going to help me perform an exorcism. Satan's daughter is providing consulting services. No extra charge. She blinked. It's included in the double payment.
I took her with me. She wore her knit beanie and a black hoodie. I lent her my coat because she said, "Pink feels wrong for an exorcism." When we arrived at the client's home, the possessed girl was sitting in her room, hugging her knees and muttering to herself.
Then she tugged on my sleeve. Not possession.
She's not possessed. She's copying lines from a horror movie she watched. She's saying it's a line from Shadow Whispers. She knows it by heart, but there's no demonic scent on her. She's just a movie nerd.
I went through the motions, read my grandmother's dramatic effect only Latin, sprinkled some water, and comforted the mother.
After we stepped outside, Lilith took off her hat, her horns catching a faint glow in the sunlight.
I helped you diagnose a fake possession.
You did.
Have you dealt with fake possessions before?
All the time. Human fear is much more common than demonic possession. Most people need reassurance, not an exorcism.
I'm someone who uses my grandmother's manual, a bottle of holy water, and a silver crucifix to tell people, "You're going to be okay."
She stood on a Brooklyn sidewalk, hers red, pale pink in the noon sunlight. My dad's KP is making humans afraid. You do the exact opposite, so your dad won't like me.
My dad will hate you. That's why you're going to be my exorcist.
Buster was sitting on the front steps of my apartment building, waiting for us. When he saw us coming back, his tail curled. He was saying, "Took you long enough."
She sat on the couch with what looked like a leather-bound journal spread open on her lap. The cover was sealed with dark red wax, stamped with the image of an eye.
This is from my mom, a survival guide for hellborn girls on Earth. She wrote it because she was worried I wouldn't make it up here.
Your mom wrote you a guide to living on Earth. She said a daughter of hell cannot be defeated by a water heater. My mom is way more practical than my dad.
She flipped to a page.
Rule 1, never use hellfire casually. It leaves a mark. My father's hounds can track trace of hellfire. Anything burned by it carries a permanent dark red stain. Humans can't see it, but creatures from hell can.
Have you used hellfire before?
I have. 16 times. Every time before they dragged me back, I lit one little fire. A trash can on the street, a lamppost, a phone booth. When they caught me, they'd see the burn marks. They'd know I fought back.
You ran away 16 times, and every time you set something on fire.
Only a little fire each time. Nothing important. Trash cans, streetlights, phone booths. Humans would think it was just an accident.
But the hellhounds could see the dark red marks. They'd report back to my father and say, "She's still resisting."
What does your father do when he hears that? He searches harder. Because he knows I haven't submitted.
What about this time?
I haven't set a fire this time. Because this...
She looked around the office. At Buster sitting on the windowsill, the exorcism manual leaning against the bookshelf, the holy water battle by the window. This time I'm in an exorcist's office. I don't need to set anything on fire.
She placed the hell guide on the coffee table. If I'm forced to use fire, my father will find this place.
Then don't use fire.
I won't. I watch dramas. Buster jumped down from the windowsill, walked to the TV, and expertly switched to the K-drama section on Galaxy Movies.
I packed up my exorcism tools beside her. The street outside was quiet. For now, there were no hellhounds.
Got a new job, a group possession in an abandoned factory. 3 teenagers had been messing around with a spirit game and summoned something. I brought my toolkit and went. Lilith came with me, wearing a hat and a black coat.
The factory was dark. When I stepped inside, the air smelled strongly of rust.
The 3 teenagers were curled up in the corner, eyes open, their pupils clouded gray and unfocused. Lilith stood by the doorway. Her ears weren't pointed, but her whole body went still for a second. Her red eyes flickered in the darkness.
You can tell their rank.
In my father's KPI system, they'd be probationary employees, new demons. Not very skilled. Their possession technique is sloppy.
How do we handle them? She looked at me. Dark red light moved deep inside her pupils. Not fear, but calculation. You do the exorcism. I'll make them leave.
She took off her hat. Her two horns were exposed in the factory's dim light, their tips beginning to glow dark red like heated iron. All three teenagers convulsed violently at the same time. The rusty smell in the air doubled in strength, then scattered.
Their eyes regained focus. Normal brown pupils, then terrified.
Lilith put her hat back on. The red glow on her horns slowly faded. She leaned against the doorframe, her fingers pressed to the metal edge. A thin, dark red burn mark had appeared there.
You used fire. Just a little. Enough to make a point. They saw me. They knew someone higher up in hell was here. They knew they didn't belong.
She tucked that hand into her coat pocket. A fine dark red glow at the tips of her nails was slowly going out. Buster sat by her feet. He looked up at her pocket, but didn't move closer.
Your hand.
It's fine. Little fires make your hand heat up. Like when humans hold a hand warmer too long.
On the way home, she walked ahead of me.
She stopped and looked back at me. You noticed the mark I left on the doorframe, right?
I did.
That was the first time, at the factory. The second time, it may leave another mark. The third time, the third one will be bigger.
Then don't use it a third time.
She looked at me. The streetlight stretched our shadows across the pavement.
I won't. But what if I have to?
Then use it. And I'll help clean up after.
Discovered a new use for K-dramas, calming down clients with their storylines. That afternoon, a middle-aged man came to see me. He said his daughter was possessed, but really, she was just going through teenage rebellion.
Lilith was sitting near that band your daughter likes. You suddenly said, you should go to one of their concerts with her.
Your daughter isn't possessed. She likes a band, and you don't approve, so she's pushing back. If you go to a concert with her, she'll feel like you understand her. The possession will be over.
The man left. A week later, he called and said his daughter was willing to talk to him again.
Lilith sat on the couch, hugging her knees, looking extremely pleased with herself.
You solved a family crisis with a K-drama plotline.
And I learned how humans fix communication problems. She stood up and walked to the bookshelf, running her fingers over DVDs. You know, if demons in hell watched K-dramas, possession rates would drop by 70%.
You ran the numbers.
I escaped 16 times. Every day I spent on Earth, I observed. Humans don't need possession. They need to be understood. K-dramas teach you how to understand people.
Hell doesn't offer that course. Hell only teaches you how to take over. You're a better teacher than hell. She turned to me, her red eyes glowing faintly beside the bookshelf. I am a better teacher than hell because I spent 10 years watching K-dramas on Earth.
Because I have an exorcist who actually listens to my spoilers.
Buster sat on top of the bookshelf, his tail hanging down and swaying slowly. He was saying,
Yes, you're teaching her.
She reached up and touched the Buster's tail. Clara.
Yeah. Do you think I can stay on Earth? You already are. I mean forever.
Your father. He probably won't allow it. She stood in front of the bookshelf, Buster's tail brushing softly against her fingers.
She looked down at Buster. I'll stay until they come to drag me back. Buster's tail curled once around her finger.
Started holding a fake exorcism every afternoon at 3. Lilith played along. I read my grandmother's for dramatic effect only, and she collapsed onto the floor. Her acting improved with every performance, from ridiculous to natural, then from natural to almost moving. On the 16th time after she fell to the floor, she didn't get up right away.
She lay on the floor, staring at the ceiling, her voice very soft. Have you ever thought about what happens if my father never believes it?
What do you mean?
What if he never believes you cast me out? What if he keeps looking until he finds me?
I ran away 16 times. Every single time, he found me. This time, you've hidden me 16 days. But you can't hide me forever.
Why not? Because... She pointed at the window.
Outside, the street was quiet, the streetlights were on, no one was there, but in the direction she pointed, there was an extremely thin, dark red trace in the air, like a burned thread stretching from the windowsill to the end of the street.
The Hounds are marking the area. They're drawing a map. They're waiting for you to make a mistake.
I stood and walked to the window. The thin line swayed slightly in the night wind, like a strand of scorched spider silk, a mark only creatures from hell could see.
Why didn't you tell me sooner? Because I was afraid once you saw it, you'd make me leave. I turned and looked at her. She sat on the office floor, a small worn patch on the knee of her pink hoodie, her black horns faintly reflecting the light beneath her knit hat. I'm not kicking you out.
Why? Because you pay double.
It's not because of the money.
Because every time we finish a fake exorcism, you smile. You genuinely enjoy playing a banished demon.
You're making fun of me. I'm laughing because the Princess of Hell is taking acting lessons. You could change careers.
She looked at me. The light in her red eyes began to return.
If my father Hounds finish that map, they'll find this place. They'll break down the door. They'll take me back. And you'll get caught in the middle.
I sat down across from her. Buster jumped down from the windowsill and sat between us.
When that happens, who do you save first? Me or yourself?
I save you first. Because you're my job. And exorcists don't abandon a job.
She smiled. There was a faint red flicker inside that smile. Soft and barely like fresh earth showing beneath the last melting snow of spring.
They came on the third night. They crashed through the window. Glass shattered, and their dark red bodies poured into the living room like lava. I stood in the bedroom doorway, gripping the bottle of holy water. Lilith stood in the center of the living room without her hat. Her two horns were fully exposed, their tips glowing with a blinding red light.
She faced the 3 hounds and didn't step back. You found me. Her voice carried that ancient echo, like a sound rolling through an empty hall.
The largest hound took one step forward, all 3 pairs of eyes fixed on her, 6 pupils shrinking at once.
Princess, the king is waiting.
Tell the king I'm not coming back. Princess, the hound took another step, its claws burning marks into the floor.
The king ordered us.
I said, I'm not going back.
Her palm lit up. Dark red light seeped from beneath her skin, like veins moving across the surface. A red line spread from her wrist to her fingertips and unfurled into the air.
Buster shot out from beside my feet and planted himself between Lilith and the hounds, fur standing on end.
Lilith looked down at him. Her expression changed from the hell into someone else entirely. She turned her palm to the side. The dark red flame shot out and struck the window frame. The entire window, frame and all, turned into dark red ash in an instant, like wood burned for far too long. The hounds backed away. They looked at the burned-out window.
Then back at Lilith, her hand still glowing dark red. Buster, standing at her feet.
Prince, we will return.
The dark red claw marks on the floor slowly disappeared, as if the floor were absorbing them. Lilith's palm slowly dimmed. She looked down at her hand. She turned to me. There was something thin and misty in her red eyes, almost like vapor.
I used hellfire.
You burned one window.
I didn't mean to, but I didn't want them near Buster. He stood in front of me. He put himself between me and them. I couldn't let them hurt him.
Buster sat at her feet, his tail curled around her ankle.
I walked over to inspect the window. The frame had turned to ash, but the wall was fine. The fire hadn't spread into the brickwork. She had controlled it well. She only burned the window frame.
You controlled it really well.
I practiced 16 times. Every time I only burned a trash can or a streetlight.
This time you burned a window.
This time it was to save a cat.
Buster will remember.
She looked down at Buster. Buster lifted his head and bumped his forehead against her palm.
Her fingers, a hand that had just released hellfire. I'll pay you back. The new window is on me. You're already paying double. Then call it an extra tip.
Can you get someone to fix the window?
Yes, tomorrow.
Before then, the hounds may smell the fire. They may come back. Then burn them again. If I burn again, you may not have any windows left.
Then we take out the windows. We live in a room without them.
She stood there, her red eyes glowing faintly in the dark, like 2 lit coals. Buster sat at her feet, his tail moving slowly through the darkness. He was saying, "Don't be afraid."
Someone here willing to live in a room without windows. Okay, she said. The word was so soft.
The window repair guy came. He examined the remains of the window frame, the dark gray carbonized wood still carrying tiny red traces along the edges. He turned to me.
What burned this?
Kitchen fire.
A kitchen fire did this to a window frame.
The oil got really hot. Lilith hid in the bedroom and watched through the crack in the door. She didn't dare come out because her whores were especially bright that morning, like freshly polished obsidian, and even her hat couldn't fully hide them. After the repairmen left, she poked her head out through the bedroom door.
Is he gone?
He's gone. He said the charting was weird. I told him my cooking oil runs unusually hot.
She came out and crouched in front of the new window. The glass was clear and brand new, the frame made of white wood. It looks better than the old one.
You burned an ugly window and got us a better one.
She smiled. Next time, I'll burn a trash can.
No. Trash cans are recyclable.
Then what should I burn?
Burn your own old things.
The stuff you brought from hell.
She thought for a moment, then pulled a small object from her pocket, a dark red stone-like flagwant with rough edges.
A hell marker. I chipped it off the portal when I ran. It's been helping the hounds track me. Can I burn this?
You can. If you burn it, the hounds will have a harder time finding you. She looked at the fragment in her palm.
It's the only souvenir I have from my 17 escapes. I chipped off the first one 16 years ago when I was 7. Every time I ran, I took a new piece.
The one in her hand was the 17th. She placed it on the windowsill. Sunlight hit it, and the dark red glow casted a small warm shadow on the glass. If you burn it, you lose your only souvenir.
I already have a new one. This is the first window I ever burned. It's nicer than a rock.
She put the flagment back into her pocket.
I'll keep it. Next time the hounds come, I'll burn it in front of them. When they see their own tracking marker destroyed, they'll hesitate.
Buster walked over and sat by her feet, his tail resting on top of her shoe. He was saying, "Keep it, keep it," I said. She looked at me, and something in those dark red eyes grew warmer, like a fire just lit in a winter fireplace.
Lilith received a letter. It wasn't delivered by a mail carrier. It seeped in through the gap of the new window. It was a dark red envelope with scorched edges, sealed with wax stamped with an eye.
She sat on the couch and stared at the letter without opening it.
Who sent it?
My dad. How do you know?
The color of the wax. This dark pattern can only be used by the King of Hell. My mom uses gold. My dad uses dark red.
You're not opening it. Opening it counts as a response. Responding means admitting I'm still here.
If I don't open it, he won't know if I received it. He won't know you got it.
But the letter is here. There's a dark red letter right next to me. A letter from the King of Hell. 1/2 meter from my fingertips.
She looked up at me. Are you scared?
I'm more worried it'll suddenly burst into flames.
She gave a very small laugh, then placed the letter on the coffee table and weighed it down with a K-drama DVD orange you.
The DVD cover was Promise of Eternity. Kim Tae-woo standing in the rain with an umbrella.
You're weighing down the King of Hell's letter with a K-drama.
K-dramas are heavier than letters from hell.
She picked up the remote and turned on the TV. As the opening theme began to play, the dark red envelope lay quietly on the coffee table. It didn't burn.
It just stayed there, pinned under a K-drama DVD. Buster jumped onto the coffee table and sat the DVD on the edge of the envelope. He was confirming K-dramas are heavier. On the third night, Lilith opened the letter. When I woke up in the middle of the night, she was sitting on the living room floor with the dark red letter spread open in her hands.
She hadn't turned on the lights, but the paper itself gave off a faint red glow, enough to illuminate her face. In that red light, her expression looked calm.
You opened it? I opened it. It's been 3 days. It's been sitting there glowing red every night. I couldn't sleep. She turned the letter toward me and said, "Do you want to read it?" I walked over and sat on the floor. The words on the letter were dark gold, like metal scorched, but not fully burned. The handwriting was neat, like it belonged to someone used to giving orders, not writing letters.
17 times, I counted. Every time you burned something. Trash cans, streetlights, phone booths. This last time, you burned a window in the home of a human exorcist. I saw it.
It was a beautiful window burn. Much better than a trash can. I showed your mother. She said it was beautiful too. She asked, who is that exorcist? I told her one who took our daughter in. 17 times.
You ran 17 times. 17 times I found you. But this, you are living in an exorcist's home. She lets you sleep on her couch. She gave you a star.
When she wakes up in the morning, she looks at you to make sure you're still there. I can see her eyes. There is no fear in them.
Lilith's voice was very soft, like she was reading the final lines of a poem.
She kept reading. I will tell the hounds to slow down. 17 times is enough. You have earned the length of 1 Starbucks coffee.
but I cannot promise more. Your mother said, let her finish this drama.
Do not know what a K-drama is, but I owe your mother one favor, so you have the length of one drama. When it ends, I will come again. Your father.
When she finished, she lowered the letter. The dark red light slowly faded from her face like a tide pulling back.
Said I have the length of one drama. One drama. If I pick a 16-episode drama, I get about 30 days. If you pick a 20-episode one, 40 days. If I pick a daily dramas have over 100 episodes.
Your father didn't say which drama.
He doesn't understand K-dramas. He doesn't know daily dramas can run for half a year. She looked at me.
I'm choosing a daily drama.
Then choose a daily drama.
She reached for the remote and switched to a K-drama channel. A daily drama currently airing was already on episode 6.
The opening credits said, expected total 120 episodes.
120 episodes. I have about 4 months. Long enough for me to figure out how to stay forever.
She placed the remote on top of the envelope, weighing down the King of Hell's letter. Buster jumped onto the coffee table and sat on remote, his tails resting on the edge of the envelope. Your father said he'll come when the drama ends.
He said when the drama ends, then let him wait. I stood up and went to the kitchen to pour myself a glass of water.
When I returned to the living room, Lilith was leaning against the couch, eyes fixed on the TV.
She was watching the daily drama. On screen, the female lead was crying in a restaurant because the male lead had misunderstood her.
Why is she crying?
Because of a misunderstanding. They'll make up next episode, then misunderstand each other again 3 episodes later.
K-dramas are always misunderstanding something.
So is Earth. The only difference is, people here don't always make up by episode 10. Sometimes they stay misunderstood their whole lives.
She turned her head to look at me.
Exorcist. Do you live inside misunderstandings too?
I take jobs. I exercise. I get paid. I don't live inside misunderstandings.
Then why did you take me in?
You paid double. You answered me. But I don't believe you. Will I always live inside a misunderstanding?
No, because when your father comes, I'll be standing next to you.
Buster's tail curved 7 degrees on the coffee. The 4-month countdown began. The first thing Lilith did every morning was turn on the TV. The daily drama had reached episode 80. She watched while taking notes.
Plot lines, character relationships. Daily dramas run several subplots at the same time. If I don't write them down, I'll get confused.
In tiny handwriting, she had written.
Second male lead's foreshadowing from episode 43 doesn't pay off until episode 89. The heroine's mother said something in episode 30. That line will come back in episode 100. You're studying the habits of K-drama writers now.
I escaped 17 times. Every day I've spent on Earth, I've studied your culture. K-dramas are the most complicated part. They're more complex than Hell's political system.
You're using K-dramas to study humans.
I'm using K-dramas to learn human relationships. Hell doesn't teach that.
My father's rule has only one line, obey. But characters in K-dramas have conflict, hesitation, choices, regret, and then they choose to reconcile. Hell doesn't have reconciliation.
Hell doesn't have reconciliation. Hell only has orders. Your dad would lose his mind if he saw you studying K-drama relationship theory, he would. But he gave me the length of one drama.
She stood and walked to the window. The new window was clean, reflecting the afternoon sunlight. She stood in the light, her horns hidden under her hat, her red eyes turning pale pink in the daylight.
I'm going to use this drama to learn how to stay on Earth.
You're already staying.
I'm still learning how to use a water heater, how to order delivery, how to live in an exorcist's home.
You haven't kicked me out yet. You pay double every day. You've said that 17 times. She smiled, and the smile was bright in the afternoon sun.
I'll remember it too. You accepted double payment, so you wonon't kick me out.
Buster sat on the windowsill, his tail draped over the edge of the frame. He glanced at us, then lowered his head and licked his paw.
4-month countdown, I kept taking exorcism jobs. Lilith kept coming with me. Her ability to diagnose fake possessions became more and more precise. She even started identifying demons by their hell job title.
Once, we went to an old house where a young man in his 20s had locked himself in the basement, saying, "Something is talking to me."
Lilith stood at the basement door and listened with her eyes closed for a while. Then she opened her eyes and said, "It's a retired demon."
Retired?
It used to work in soul harvesting. Did that for 3,000 years, then retired. After retirement, it didn't know how to spend its time, so it started talking to humans. It's not malicious, it's just lonely.
Your demon retired, got lonely, and found a human to chat with. Hell doesn't have a retire leisure program. After demons retire, they have 2 options, keep working or disappear. It chose a 3rd option.
I went through the usual process. Latin, holy water. After we finished, the young man came out and said, the voice stopped. He looked relieved.
Lilith waited for me outside.
It leave. It left. It said, "Thank you for coming." It said, "Earth is warmer than hell." A retired demon said, "Earth is warmer than hell."